Good afternoon and welcome to Muskegon Rotary. My name is Tim Arter. I am the president-elect and I'm filling in for Ginny Sprague today. The Rotary Foundation theme for the month of April is maternal and child health. Our program today is TRISHARE program, State of Childcare. We will begin with the Pledge of Allegiance, followed by a reflection by Emily Morgenstern, and we will be reciting the four-way test at the end of the meeting. And now for the Pledge of Allegiance. Pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Please remain standing while Emily comes forward.
Good afternoon. So I knew I was doing the reflection today. I had it on my calendar. Did I prepare something? No. But in sticking with this month's theme, on my way here, a song on the radio called "If I Could See the World" by Patsy Cline came on. So I'm going to read some lyrics for you guys. If I could see the world through the eyes of a child, smiling faces would greet me all the while. Like a lovely work of art, it would warm my weary heart. Just to see the eyes of a child. I could see right, no wrong. I could see good, no bad. I could see all the good things in life I never had. If I could see the world through the eyes of a child, what a wonderful world this would be.
Thank you, Emily. Beautifully done. Enjoy your lunch. We'll be back in about 10 minutes. Thank you. Mike, would you please show the Rotary Club Begins project to help pregnant women improve maternal and child health?
That will help support and provide healthcare services for 100 pregnant women in 2 suburbs as kick-started in the Federal Capital Territory. The program is expected to ensure that pregnant women are encouraged to visit healthcare facilities in order to have safe births. Health correspondent Kemi Balogun has details and will return with business news.
Pregnant women remain delicate throughout their journey to childbirth. Many go through this process without any assistance from nurses or midwives, leading to several complications during childbirth. In sub-Saharan Africa, only 56% of all births take place in health facilities, leading to a 66% of the global record of maternal mortality. To help reduce this burden, humanitarian organizations like the Rotary Club of Abuja Jabi Lakeside is introducing the 100 Safe Arrivals project at 2 communities in the FCT.
We're here to give them health talk about pregnancy tips, give them pre-vitamins, supplements, give them free antenatal care and delivery kits.
Every pregnancy deserves to be supported. The idea behind it is to help them feel loved, help them feel comfortable and confident in the healthcare system.
This primary healthcare center at the Kuchingoro area is hosting the first set of 100 pregnant women. Beneficiaries here like Augustina believe that this support will go a long way in encouraging more pregnant women to visit healthcare facilities during pregnancies.
I've been checked, which is very good. They checked my blood pressure. They gave us a container to go and urinate to check to know if we have malaria and all that, to make sure I'm okay and my baby is okay. And that's a very good thing for us as a mother in this condition, because we need to know that our baby is very healthy and they are okay and we are malaria free.
Of our women that come here, they have challenges, economic challenges, especially when it comes to labor and delivery.
In recent times, health facility delivery has been described as one of the major contributors to improved maternal and child health outcomes. Kemi Balogun, TVC News, Abuja.
Thank you, Mike. I now invite any visiting Rotarians and Muskegon Rotarians and their guests to come forward for introductions.
Sorry, you're going to be up first.
You don't.
Okay, thanks. No, thank you.
Where do you want me to stand? Here? Good? Oh, over here. Sorry. Good. I am Sarah Rintz-Masivinga with Muskegon Area District Library, and my guest today is Jen Spangler. She is the children's librarian at the Norton Shores branch and brings tons of energy to all of the programming there. If any of you have brought your little ones or your grandkids to any kids programs at the Norton Shores branch, she is the brains behind all of that programming. So Jen Spangler.
I'll stand right here. My guest today is my son and Emily's brother and Dave Alexander's godson, Nick Morgenstern. Nick is finishing up a second year at Creighton University in medical school, and he seems to know everything, so if anybody has any questions, you can get free medical advice. So, Nick Morgenstern, thank you.
And if you think he knows everything, wait till you meet these guys. So get excited because we have the Fruitport Trojans in the house. To introduce two of the seniors is all of a sudden Jason Kennedy. I'm sorry, Jason. Jason Kennedy is superintendent of the district.
Yeah. Well, first of all, thanks for having us today. Honored to be here. Again, Jason Kennedy, the superintendent at Fruitport Schools. Lots of outstanding things that are happening within the district. I get to introduce two of our finest to you today. Our counselor could not be here to do so because it is SAT testing week. And we are in the midst of ACT work keys today. And so with us, we have two outstanding seniors. The first, Dayton Campbell and Olivia Bosch. And then I will allow each of them to say a few words.
Yeah, so I'm Dayton, and I'm a member of NHS, National Honor Society, and I'm also a three-sport athlete. I play football, baseball, and basketball, so I'm always moving. And yeah, so that's basically me. And in the future, I'm planning on going to Michigan State University. Very excited. So if you have any stuff for me that I need to know about Michigan State, I'm always willing to know, and I'm going to pursue in business. So all my business people out there. So
I'm Olivia Bosch. I'm involved in NHS, PBIS, and FCA. And in the future, in the fall, I plan to attend Grand Valley to become a doctor of physical therapy.
Go PTs.
So at this time, I'll be introducing Melissa Horton to introduce today's speaker, Kathy Sales.
Good afternoon. Our speakers today are Kathy Sales and Amber Rumsey. And Kathy was born and raised in Muskegon. She's a graduate of Michigan State University and is married with 2 children and 2 grandchildren. Kathy worked in the early childhood field in Muskegon for over 20 years as a Head Start preschool teacher, a Lakeshore Regional 4C consultant, a quality improvement specialist for Great Start to Quality, and is currently the Child Care Development Coordinator at United Way of the Lakeshore. She is excited about helping this community provide a great start for our youngest citizens. Amber Rumsey is the Regional Child Care Coordinator for United Way of the Lakeshore. She was born and raised in Oceana County, where she returned to work as an elementary teacher after graduating from Michigan State University. Please join me in welcoming Kathy and Amber.
Hello, everyone. Let me get this straight. Okay, can you all hear me? Good. Well, I'm very happy to be here and talk about something I'm extremely passionate about, and that is our children, right? And getting them the best start they can have. And I know Rotarians also believe in that, and you have many projects that support young children. So let's see here. Let me see if I can start. Oh, like magic, there it starts. So I'm here today to talk about childcare, specifically as it relates to Muskegon County. And I'm going to start, well, let me see here. Nope. There. Okay, so I'll start with a few statistics, just thinking that maybe some of you may be really familiar with childcare and others may know nothing about childcare. So these are just some numbers, some data from Muskegon County. We have 12,000 children 0 to 5, and a lot of those children are in childcare or they're in school or whatever. And as far as childcare goes, you know, they're a business. This childcare is a business. And we have 51 family homes in Muskegon County that are licensed, and they have a capacity for 6 children, 69 group homes, and they have a capacity for 12. And then we have approximately 60 centers. Centers are a little more difficult to identify because GSRP and Head Start and some of those programs also have to be licensed by the state, and they're not technically center business. So, but we have approximately, let's say, 5,000 openings to serve those 12,000 students, children. And infant care always remains the most difficult, and wait lists are definitely common. Now, let me tell you this too. With the Governor Whitmer's Caring for My Futures, we did see some new businesses open up. We had 13 new businesses, childcare businesses opened up in 23, 24, 3 centers, 5 group, and 5 family. But also on the flip side, we did lose some childcare providers as well through COVID and just because they retired or whatever. So let's see here. Oop, there we go. Oop. There we go. But the bottom line is childcare is extremely complicated. If you've never tried to navigate the system, it can be overwhelming for young parents and families. You do have some resources that are here, and Amber's going to talk further about them, but I need to point out right now that Great Start to Quality is a service. They have every single licensed provider in the state within their system, and any parent can go in anytime and search for childcares by putting in a zip code, and they'll all pop up. So you can definitely go there, but they have to be licensed. But you can have a home-based or you can have a center-based. You need the right location. Is it closer to work? Is that better? Is it closer to home? Which works best for you? I do know parents that maybe they're going to work at Howmet, but they live in Fruitport and their providers in Lakeside. Logistically, that's a lot of travel time for those young families. And so the right location can be a critical option for them. You want to have somebody who's qualified and licensed and someone who you feel comfortable leaving your child with. They are your most important asset. They're your heart. So you want to be sure they're with somebody that you're comfortable with. And then, of course, you have to open your work hours. Well, you might work first shift, second shift, third shift, split shift, weekends. Wow, that's another issue that goes. And then, of course, affordability, and we're going to talk about that a little bit more. And then, of course, you have to have openings. And I will tell you, there are very few openings. I know a center that has over 100 families on their waiting list, right? What are those children doing when those parents have to go to work, right? So let's see. So I decided I would just give you a little idea of what a family looks like, okay? And this is probably, I would consider an Alice family, you know, asset limited, income constrained, employed. And there's 2 adults, 2 children, there's a baby, a toddler. They're both working, they're hardworking parents, they're working full-time. Combined, they're making $40 an hour, which seems, you know, significant. Approximately $1,600 a week. The monthly gross is $6,400 approximately, and that looks pretty significant. Let's see, how do they navigate? Now, we're just assuming they found childcare, it's convenient, it fits all their needs, but let's see how they're going to fund it. I'll figure this button out before I go. Oh, nope, see, wrong. You gave me good instructions, I'm just not following them. Okay, so here's some payment options for these families. First of all, there's child development care. It's called CDC. That's statewide subsidies. Now they've changed the terminology. They're not calling it subsidized anymore. They're going to call them scholarships. And so you'll hear that terminology also being used. But they're a family of four, and with their monthly gross and their everything else, it doesn't qualify for CDC. The entry level for CDC is $2,500 to $5,000, right? And they're over that, so they don't qualify. So that's off the table. Then we have the TRISHARE program, which we're going to talk more about this in depth as well. But the TRISHARE is a state program, and it's shared three ways. A third is paid by the employee, a third is paid by the employer, and a third is paid by the state, okay? They would qualify. That's great. They would qualify, and look what it would do. 145 would be paid by the employer, 145 by the family, and 145 by the state. The problem is their employer has to be part of the program, and also their child care provider has to be part of the program. So let's pretend that doesn't work either. Then we're down to full pay. This family is going to pay $22,000 a year for child care for their children. The federal government says 7% of a family's salary should go through to child care. This is way over the top. And the child care providers aren't getting rich either. This is $6 an hour for an infant. Infant care is also really difficult to find and expensive to have, right? And then the toddlers. So it's $440 a week. Ooh, there you go. So Muskegon County recognized early on how the lack of quality childcare impacts our local economy, right? We did community health needs assessments, and they identified childcare as a barrier to employment. Our Alice families always listed childcare as a barrier to employment because based on those numbers, it doesn't pay people to go to work, right? It doesn't make sense. And so with the Livability Lab in 2019, we took on the Child Care Challenge, and a part-time staff was created. That's me, yoo-hoo. And with funding by the MAISD Trusted Advisor and the Trinity Health Community Board Benefit Initiative Grant, CBBI. And we formed the Child Care Action Team, and I have a lot of my team members out here as well. And our mission, we decided what would be the mission, and we decided to support our children and working families by increasing capacity, quality, access, and affordability of childcare for everyone. Oh, darn, I'm gonna get that right. Okay, here we go. So what did the Child Care Action Team do? What was our work? What were our action things? Well, the first one was, because we were an organized group, when the state decided to pilot the TRISHARE child care program, they selected Muskegon County as one of 3 in the state to roll this out, okay? So we piloted that program. We supported any efforts that were out there for new childcare businesses. We developed community relationships and partnerships. I mean, there's a lot of familiar faces out here. I've done programming and visited and talked to you about childcare needs. And then we also partner always with the Child Care Great Start to Quality. I partner with them. And we have a group called the Child Care Connections, which is home-based provider support group, sort of like a Rotary for childcare providers, right? Only willing to meet once a month. And then because we were established, because we were here and we were visible and invested in the community, we wrote, when I say we, the United Way, thank you, Christine, we wrote for the Regional Child Care Planning Grant, and we received the grant. And that's when we were able to hire Amber. She's coming up next. But I just want to do a couple quick tip about the TRISHARE Child Care Program. There are brochures on your table with more information, questions and answers, and Goodwill Industries stepped up and they actually house the TRISHARE program. And the program manager is Katrina Rule, and her card is also on the table, and she manages the program for our region. And here's some of the benefits that they have for employers as far as removing barriers to for your employees. It involves recruitment and retention. We know families that will go work for a certain business because they are supporting childcare, right? And then the employees, it really, well, you could just see how financially it would help them, make it easier to go to work. And then childcare providers also benefit from this because they're paid bi-weekly from the program, and it is just a real simple thing for them to do. So it's really been a great program, and hopefully we'll just be able to continue that. So next, I'm not going to get it. Okay, so in March 2023, the United Way of the Lakeshore received $230,000 state grant for planning childcare solutions for Muskegon, Oceana, Mason Lake, Newaygo, okay? And the goal of this grant through the ECIC and MD was lowering costs and increasing access for working families. So the regional planning grants, that's Amber. She's going to talk about economic development, employers, municipalities, parents, early childhood leaders, all together into a coalition. So I'm going to turn it over to her. Hope you do better with the buttons.
I'll get that on my way down.
There you go.
Thank you, Kathy. Hi, everybody. So when the United Way of the Lakeshore brought me on as the Regional Child Care Coalition, it wasn't just to represent Muskegon County, it was to represent a 5-county region, which included Mason, Lake, Oceana, Newaygo, and Muskegon. We together came up with the motto of, together we will collaborate, advocate to build a stronger childcare community that supports families, childcare professionals, and the local economy. So we started by admiring the problem, and I know that we feel like we do a lot of that, right? But in order to make solutions that actually make sense for our communities, we have to find out what our community wants. How do they want us to fix the problem? So we started with a survey. We had 820 families in all 5 counties complete a survey about their childcare barriers, 166 employers in all 5 counties, and 190 care providers in all 5 counties. We also facilitated focus groups in all 5 counties for families, care providers, and employers. Anybody who's interested in Muskegon-specific data on that, I can get that to your leaders and they can send that out to you. So what did we learn? We admired the problem and we learned that there were 3 basic key barriers in all 5 counties. They look a little different, but they're access, childcare staffing, and employer engagement. Now, access falls under 3 different categories because the way that people need to access childcare is different depending on who they are. An access problem could mean that you can't afford it. An access problem could be it's not available. We talked about infant care being hard to find. And an access problem can be that the quality isn't what you need for your family. For example, if your child has specific needs that they need their provider to have. Childcare staffing is one of the biggest problems as far as keeping our professionals available to meet the demand. We are finding that people are leaving the field due to low pay. We're finding that people are having a hard time keeping staffing, and that's directly related to that availability issue. We can't open more spots if we don't have adults there that are qualified to be with the kids in the building. The next barrier that we noticed was the employer engagement piece. Our employers had a lack of resources, not a lack of interest, which is different. They had a lack of resources to help them understand how to help their employees with their childcare needs. So now that we've admired the problem, we wanted to start talking about solutions. What are possible solutions? Well, for access, we know we need to focus on affordability. We know that we need to help with CDC scholarship/subsidy. We know that the current MyBridges website is sometimes hard for families to maneuver. So we need to make sure that our community partners are able to help families through that. TriShare, not everybody understands how to use it. Not everybody understands if they qualify for TriShare. Learning how to keep our HR employers in on the loop as we are expanding these programs. And community-based scholarships. There are a few examples already in Muskegon of people who are coming up with community-based scholarships to help families who are in need as they're changing employment. We had a meeting yesterday where we talked about the fact that most of the families that already utilized that scholarship, that community-based scholarship here in Muskegon, only needed between $200 and $400 to get them by before they were able to pay for childcare themselves. That was the difference between them being able to go to work and them having to stay home and give up employment. Availability is another piece for our solutions. We want to make sure that we're supporting the creation of micro centers in our region. Micro centers give an opportunity for care providers who want to own a business to do so in a place outside of their home using group home licensing rules. Those are more lenient than a center-based rule, so they're able to actually get a business running without some of the extra costs that might incur with centers. We want to support that in our region. We want to support our work with the Great Start to Quality because, one, they have a list of all the current licensed care providers in every zip code in the state of Michigan. So you put in your zip code, you put in what type of care you want, they show you who's available to you. That's pretty amazing. And our Great Start to Quality people are essential to keeping the quality of our care at the top notch for our children, which is what's really most important. And that leads directly to my next piece, which is quality. They offer supplying high quality training opportunities for our providers, which we need to continue to support, and even more so, especially when we're talking about one of the access issues being, not everybody has the education they need to meet the needs of some of our kids with special needs. For childcare staffing, our solutions revolve around trying to change the narrative and celebrate what childcare professionals do in our region. We want to partner with West Michigan Works they are creating an ECE apprenticeship specifically for Muskegon. The plan is currently being developed. It's not ready yet, but when it is ready for the County of Muskegon, care providers are going to be able to send folks that are working for them through the program in order to get certified in CDC. What is it? I'm sorry, CDA, sorry. I got my acronyms all messed up. We also want to support for our childcare staffing issues the shared service networks. Our providers have talked a lot about the fact that they spend a lot of time, not just during the day caring for kids, but a lot of time at night doing the paperwork part of their business, right? They're a business owner. We want to use shared services to support them to take some of that burden away and make it a more appealing job for people. And finally, and definitely not least, we have possible solutions for our employer engagement. And this is where the Pulse Employer Roadmap comes in, and this is on everyone's table. So the Pulse Employer Roadmap is a partnership between the Pulse organization and the US Chamber of Commerce. They decided to come up with a roadmap for employers on how to help their employees access childcare. So within this document and on their website, you will find different ways to meet the needs of your staff, whether it be through a childcare partnership, starting a partnership with somebody else, helping with TriShare, offering something called lifestyle benefits, flexible scheduling, policy advocacy. What can you do as a business owner in order to help your employees? I'm really excited to report that we do have one employer in Muskegon County, who I'm not going to name call right now because we're not completely into it, who is interested in piloting one of these strategies from the roadmap. So I am excited to reaching forward with them. Right now, we're going to survey their staff to see what their staff needs. And from there, we're going to get going. But thank you so much for your time. And do we have any questions?
Why don't you come forward? Any questions? Great program.
Hi there. More of a comment than a question. I want to thank you guys for your work and for educating us more about the ins and outs of the situation. I wanted to just bring to everyone's attention too, this is not part of what you presented, but when you made that profile of the working family bringing home about $75,000-ish a year with 2 kids and paying around $22,000 a year in childcare, they're really only able to claim $3,000 per kid for a total of $6,000 on their federal taxes. So that 22 and that 6 is like a meaningless number. It's way, way off. And folks who are not in the trenches with that, like myself doing my taxes this morning, might not be aware of those limits. So thank you for what you're doing.
Could you enlighten us as to how much outside of this formal systems, businesses and activities that you've outlined are just family and friends taking care of this, or neighborhood folks getting together and just, and is that a good thing or not?
Well, first of all, it's illegal in the state of Michigan to watch children not related to you in your home. Because when you have state licensing, they license the home, not necessarily the provider, and that's for the safety and well-being of the children. So, you know, I mean, there is another designation, it's called license exempt providers, and that is something that can be, some of those costs can be covered by the CDC payments, and that's when like a grandma's taking care of her grandchildren, right? They have a special designation for that. But as far as a neighborhood, just someone in the neighborhood just opening, I'm not saying it doesn't happen. I'm just saying, I'm just saying it's not legal. You have to be licensed anytime you're watching children not related to you in your home. I think there's a cap on it. It's like $600 a year, because there was something in the state where some lady was watching the children for an hour before school each day, and you know, she's being reimbursed. But basically, that's the answer to that. Did I answer your question?
Oh, the tax exempt piece.
Oh, go ahead, tell me.
So in addition to that tax exempt piece, what Kathy said is accurate as far as if it's a relative of the child, they can watch them in their own home or the child's home. But if it's somebody else, then they can watch that child in their home through the tax exempt license. We learned that yesterday on the CDC call.
That's a license.
Yep,
exempt,
that's a
right?
license exempt.
So from an employer standpoint, can they get a tax break or something that they, I mean, sure they want to do it for their employees, but there's an economic cost, obviously. Is there some more that they can benefit, or at least, you know, make it a, you know, revenue or cost neutral?
I'm really happy you asked that question, because if you were running a business, staff is clearly the highest cost that you have anyway, but the cost of turnover is higher than the cost of providing resources to your employees. So you are benefiting monetarily in the long run by not having to deal with so much turnover if you're helping your families with their childcare needs.
Right, and there's on your table, there's a question and answer. If you look at it too, there's some of those questions and answers are on there as well. But I will say this, we have 19 employers in Muskegon County that are currently part of the TRISHARE program, and some of them are real rock stars. I mean, it is working for them, right? And we had Health West is the one, and they have how many? A lot of their employees, and they're finding it really a good retention tool, and just you know, making it better for their employees. They're happier employees and less turnover, and they're coming to work more often too. So there's definitely side benefits.
There has been some talk throughout the United States of states taking over that to make sure that I guess preschool, maybe from maybe six weeks or so till kids go to kindergarten. I think it was passed in New Mexico. What are the chances in Michigan that there would be a statewide program?
Can you clarify for us? Do you mean that childcare would be a statewide program? Is that what your question is? Okay.
Wow, that would be amazing. I'm not familiar with that. Yeah, I can't address because I've not heard of that at all. I do know that this particular administration with Caring for My Futures is very active about supporting families and children in our state. And I know there's a lot of talk about pre-K for all. Where's Jim? Oh, there he is. But my focus is at 0 to 3. You know, if we're raising our children and getting them ready, those 0 to 3 is when their most brain development happens. And that's when they need to be in the best environment, the most nurturing environment. And those are the years that I'm really focused on. So I don't think that answers.
Hey, Kathy and Amber.
Hi, Melissa.
So I know you guys are both huge advocates for our children, but also for our childcare workers. So could you talk a little bit about the desperate need for more childcare professionals and why we're struggling to fill that gap, how much they make, what life is like for them, and why we don't have more people going into a field that's so critical?
Wow, that's a that's a lot of questions. Well, for one thing, it's getting better. I've got to say that. I mean, with COVID especially, it seemed that all of a sudden the services that childcare providers support to our communities and how they're supporting the economic development and families really kind of came to the top, and all of a sudden they did have a little bit of an audience out there. And I mean, a lot of times childcare providers, it's difficult for them to determine exactly what they're making an hour if you're in a home setting, because you're in your home. So there's a lot of expenses that, you know, you don't really realize while you're raising children. That centers are a whole nother story, and that is a very expensive undertaking because there's so many licensing rules and regulations and good, but environment and health and safety, all those kinds of things. So it does get very expensive. And what we're trying to do too is provide the training. She's talking about the CDA. Used to have a program at the Career Tech, right? And it was a very popular program. Wow. Lots of students were interested. People love children and want to go into it or go into teaching or whatever, and they'd get this child development associate credential. But they removed the program because guess what? They would get finished and they'd go to work for $8 an hour. Well, that wasn't going to, you know, that just wasn't going to work. So, did you want to add anything? Yeah, our time's up, right?
Yeah, we're done. Sorry. Just a quick comment. I have family that lives in North Carolina.
Yeah.
And they have some daycare centers where they actually train and pay the parents to become workers where their children are. And they're able to go and be with their children then and get paid, which is a thought you might consider. Makes the mothers feel very secure that their children are being taken care of, and it's a very positive thing for a daughter-in-law I have.
Thank you.
Excuse me, one moment. Thank you so much for your presentation, and as a result, our Muskegon Rotary Club will be making a contribution to Hand Wash, which is a cooperative clean water program in Haiti. We have a poster here, but thank you again. Appreciate it. It was a great subject and well done. Thank you. So at this time, we're going to get the birthday slide up. And as you can see, Eric Seifert and Nicholas Green are sharing a birthday on April 11, which is today. Aaron Kuhn, April 13, and Brad Hastings, April 14th. So please consider making a $10 birthday gift to our Muskegon Rotary Caring Connection, or scan the QR code on the birthday flyers that are right beside me here. At this time, Mike, if would you turn to the spotlight video for us, please?
My name is Jillian Pastor, and I'm the executive director of Every Woman's Place. My Rotary experience has been really great so far. I really enjoy connecting with fellow Rotarians who are working to push Muskegon forward and really create a safe and healthy community for us all to live. At Every Woman's Place, we provide supportive services to survivors of domestic violence, sexual assault, and sex trafficking in Muskegon County. And as we know, many times survivors come to us when they are first experiencing domestic violence after pregnancy or even sometimes during their pregnancy. And that seems to be a high-risk time for survivors. And this is an issue that really means a lot more to me now that I do have a young child. The principles of the four-way test are really important to me. Fairness, equality, equity, those are things that I live by every single day. And it's really important that every single survivor that walks through our doors receives those fair, equitable services. I'm thankful for this opportunity to present myself to all my fellow Rotarians, but also to present Every Woman's Place, because we truly know it takes a village to raise a healthy child. And we just welcome your support. We know that our services are confidential, or rather our clients are confidential, but our services are not. And so we really welcome you to join with our organization and join the movement to end domestic and sexual violence.
At this time, we have a Paul Harris Award to be presented. Meredith Smiley.
Thanks, Tim. It's that season again. You guys get to see me a lot. In 1957, Rotary International established the Paul Harris Fellow Award to honor Paul Harris, one of the 3 founders of Rotary. Rotary created this eponymous award to express appreciation for the financial support of the humanitarian and educational programs of the Rotary Foundation. This award is one of Rotary's most prestigious honors. Paul Harris once said, "Dreaming is not so bad if one dreams good dreams and makes them come true." Rotarians make dreams a reality through the Rotary Foundation programs that provide educational opportunities, food, potable water, sanitation, healthcare, immunizations, and shelter for millions of persons here at home and around the world. Today, we will honor a deserving individual who also dreams good dreams and makes them come true. To help with this presentation, I invite Sheriff Mike Poland to come forward and tell us about our honoree today, who will share the worldwide ranks of Paul Harris Fellows.
All right. Good afternoon, everybody. I am very honored to be here today. When I received notice of this individual receiving this award, and then when I was asked to be the individual who had an opportunity to speak on behalf of this person, I was quite honored. We have a long history together, spent a lot of time together with this individual. As a law enforcement professional, we often deal with many critical incidences throughout our careers. And really on the invite for this person to come up here, I could, we could all share the story some other time, but if I can have the only other person in this room who had guns held to our heads at the same time, would you come up here, please? John Gale. Come on up, John. So our careers together have almost ran in line with one another. We both worked part-time, starting our careers off at the North Muskegon Police Department. John just retired this past year as a chief of police with the city of Norton Shores. I'm sure many of you are familiar with that. But I sat down and took a moment and wrote down some of the things throughout his career. And so the 2 presentations that we had today really kind of fall in line with what I think embodies John Gale's career as a law enforcement professional here in Muskegon County. We both worked in traffic services. John worked as a crash investigator and accident reconstructionist for the city of Norton Shores when he was a patrolman there. For 12 years, the 2 of us commanded a multi-jurisdictional SWAT team for the county of Muskegon. He has sat on state boards with the Michigan Association of Chiefs of Police and part of their traffic safety committee, the Governor's Traffic Safety Advisory Commission, the Governor's Mental Health Diversion Commission, and he was vice president of the Western Michigan Chiefs of Police and treasurer and secretary of the Michigan Chiefs of Police. And I can't tell you how important it is for these state organizations to have an individual from our area participate in them, especially the Governor's Mental Health Diversion Council and all the work that John Gale did here in Muskegon County. For the last 32 years, he's worked as a police officer in our great county, serving as a police chief for 10 years for the city of Norton Shores. When I had an opportunity to speak at his retirement party, the one thing that I did say and I wanted to close with, which we can talk about here, which is very important, is I do not know of another law enforcement individual who's had the greatest impact on students in Muskegon County. He and I worked together initially on a Safe School initiative, which has been very popular throughout Muskegon County. John brought the Ride with Pride program, which could be a program in and of itself here, to the local districts. He really pushed and worked with all the area chiefs for the OK to Say program, giving children a safe place to reach out and talk about incidences, and also Handle with Care. John has been the driving force behind that with all the chiefs. And really, if you're not familiar with this program, simple enough, now law enforcement officers are able, right through their MCTs, to send messages to school districts about an individual, a student, who may have had an emotional incident. Their parents got in a domestic assault, maybe dad got arrested for drunk driving. And it just gives that school that information to let them know, hey, this student might need a little bit of attention today. We talked about mental health. He has really led the county's critical incident training for all of our officers now throughout Muskegon County that we're involved in, and also the hunter safety programs for youth and the sportsmen for youth. John has recently, since his retirement, taken a new position with the ISD, very fitting. He is now the school and safety liaison officer, and that really puts him in a position now to affect some change and have a great impact, as he has for the last 33 years, at every district in Muskegon County. And for that, and as a Fruitport grad, I'd like to congratulate John Gale.
Those to him. Well, you're already on your feet. So today, Rotarians, we move closer to a more peaceful world, truly, as John Gale becomes a Paul Harris Fellow. John, you were recognized today as a Paul Harris Fellow in special appreciation for how your life exemplifies the humanitarian and educational objectives of the Rotary Foundation. You were designated to receive this recognition by the Rotary Club members. On behalf of the Rotary Foundation Board of Trustees, you received 3 emblems of a Paul Harris Fellow, a lapel pin, a medallion, and a certificate that states you have been named a Paul Harris Fellow, in appreciation of tangible and significant assistance given for the furtherance of a better understanding and friendly relations between peoples of the world. We encourage you to wear your pin and to demonstrate your support of the Rotary Foundation and the programs that save and invigorate people's lives worldwide. So accept our congratulations and sincere appreciation of all of the commitments shared to our world understanding in peace goals. Again, you're already standing, so let's give him one more round of applause.
Thank you very much. This was indeed a surprise. I wondered why the sheriff was looking across the room and seeing if I was here today. So I did not prepare a speech, but I guess the only thing I'd like to say is the opportunities I've had has gone along with my life of just wanting to make change, make the world a better place, just like here in Rotary. So thank you for the opportunities in Norton Shores. Mayor Nealon here, and also my new boss, Randy Lindquist, bringing me on at the ISD to get to do the things that I love to do. So thank you once again.
So in case you were wondering if you hadn't read the RIM, our one and only Judge Jenny McNeil won the women's bracket. So congratulations to Jenny on your Paul Harris Fellow in the University of South Carolina. And then I'm going to ask Marty to come up here and help me for a minute, because Marty also won a Paul Harris Fellow for the Yukon Huskies, winning the men's bracket. I'm losing my speech here. So we did collect $3,200. And so Marty, I need you to draw a name out of there for our random drawing from our participants. If you can read my handwriting. Welcome, Christy Nagengast. For your participation, you are now a Paul Harris Fellow winner. Thanks, Christy. I think that's all of my stuff.
Thank you very much, Meredith. At this time, we're going to go through some announcements. Just to let you know, we will be meeting at the Lake House next week, April 18th. So I'll repeat that. There's always a little confusion about that, as we're going to be meeting at the Lake House next week. Rewind will not be meeting this evening. A quick request by Andrew Cutler for the Party in the Park is to please sign up for the spots. There are many open spots yet, so this is for the Party in the Park. He'll be sending out another request soon. This week's Muskegon Rising podcast features Kendra Robinson interviewing Women's Resource Center for a powerful conversation about hope and second chances. Check out the RIM for more details and a link to the podcast. As far as the microforest planting dates, they are Monday, April 22nd from 3 o'clock to 6 o'clock. That happens to be the Earth Day also. And this will be part of the United Way Day of Caring. We need 25 volunteers. If you're interested, please contact John Noling. And then also another planting will take place on Friday, May 10 from 9 in the morning to 3 in the afternoon. That will serve as our community planting date. On another note, we have a new member social, which will take place on April 25th from 5 o'clock to 7 p.m. That is a part of the Pours Happy Hour event at the 794 Kitchen. If you think you're going to be going, please use our Sign Up Genius to and complete that invitation. It helps us with planning the number of people with the 794 Kitchen. Next, the Rewind Satellite Club, Rewind, will be holding a I-96 highway trash pickup, and they are in dire need of any help that you can help them with. Please sign up using the Sign Up Genius. It's important that you be there. It's going to be Saturday, April the 20th from 8:45 to 11 a.m. It's important that you be there by 8:45 for a safety talk and to receive the gear that they have for picking up the trash. The meeting place on April the 20th will be the Park and Ride off I-96, which is off exit 4 for Far Road. Irma, great job, Mike.
Well, as you can see from the video, that's where all the cool kids will be tonight. It's our first Pours event of 2024, tonight at the Valkyrie in North Muskegon. There's plenty of parking in the rear. Arrive early around 6 p.m. to grab a table and order some food, as we will receive 10% of all the food sales tonight. Also, $2 on all adult beverage pours. It will be a trivia night, which starts at 7 p.m., so be sure to bring your thinking caps. My team is looking to be first place. In addition to the generosity of the Valkyrie, this evening, management is extending their Pours donation period from today until April 30th. We will receive $1 per pour on all drafts on tap, so please take the time to thank the Valkyrie management and staff for supporting Muskegon Rotary and its charities. I will be the host tonight, so come out and see me.
And while you're out there, make sure you thank the manager and the staff. They've been just tremendous to us. To switch gears on Pours for Community, we have a special announcement. Shortly after we met with our new partner, 794 Kitchen, for the event 2 weeks from now, which is April the 25th, we were offered the opportunity by Grand Armory Brewing of Grand Haven to create a private label draft beer. And of course, we said, great, we'll take that blonde ale. But we needed to have a name for this special blonde, something cool, but not over the top, something catchy and easy to remember. So after creating 30 names, we settled on a tribute, not only for a much respected and loved Rotarian, but also his favorite blonde. So we now reveal the name of our special blonde ale, Orville's Favorite Blonde. So please come out on April the 25th, and we have a limited number of Orville's Favorite Blonde, and we encourage you to sign up and have a great time with us. Oh, she's throwing kisses. Susan is on the Zoom today. She had a family commitment in Florida and wasn't able to join us today, so I'm glad to see that she was able to be with us through Zoom. Okay. Next, we have, Eric, are you doing the raffle today? Okay, yes, go ahead.
I thought we were splitting
Okay, well, we have, Mike, could you bring that back up again? While we have this up on the screen, a quick shout out to to Jason Piasecki and Revel. All of the artwork that you see for Pours for Community, they've designed it and created it, including this one. So thank you very much. Next week's program is Paul Billings will be speaking to the club about his trips to Africa. At this time, please rise to recite the four-way test. Of the things we think, say, and do, is truth, is fair to all concerned, will it build goodwill and better friendships, will it be beneficial to all concerned. Thank you very much, and hope to see a lot of you at the Valkyrie tonight. We're adjourned.